Discover how a single dad CEO's blind date revealed an incredible love with a hidden gem. Liam stood outside the quaint little diner, his heart racing just like a camcorder on the fritz. Would tonight be the spark that reignited some lost part of him? The neon lights flickered a comforting welcome, but the pressure of expectations lurked in the background like a heavy fog. He was a single dad, a CEO trying to juggle spreadsheets and bedtime stories, and now he was up for a blind date? What was he thinking? 5 years since his world shattered and he dethroned himself into his kids and work, leaving little room for anything else. But maybe, just maybe, this could be different. As he stepped inside, the smell of pancakes and fresh coffee wrapped around him like a warm hug. The bustling chatter of clients and the clinking of silverware created a symphony of normalcy that soothed his nerves. Then he saw her, Emma. A 30-year-old waitress with a smile that could illuminate the darkest corners of doubt. She had warmth in her brown eyes and a kind of genuine spirit that made the gray world seem a little more colorful. From the start, their conversation flowed effortlessly, weaving tales of aspirations and the sacrifices they made for family. "I used to paint," she said, a nostalgic smile dancing on her lips. "Before life got in the way. Now, it's just me keeping things together for my family." Liam felt pulled into her world. She spoke with a passion that flickered hope within him. Could they really connect over their burdens, over their losses? He felt a tightness in his chest as he glanced at her, thinking maybe, just maybe, he could open his heart again, but as laughter filled the air, a misunderstanding jarred his senses. A phone buzzed on the table. Emma checked it and looked up, face falling like a curtain closing on a show. "I didn't think you'd even care." The words slipped out, sharp and unexpected. Liam's heart raced, uncertainty clouding her vibrant stories. What had he done? The spark they shared stung as doubts swirled within him. Was he destined to fail again? Before he could grasp the situation, gossip began to trickle from nearby tables. "Did you hear he's just a single dad trying to play both roles?" murmured a woman, shaking her head. Liam flinched at the judgment that sliced through the air. But from the very same community that now whispered behind his back, friends rallied to push them together. They knew he needed love, everyone did. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. With a shared connection overshadowed by misunderstandings, Emma and Liam had to decide whether to let fear rule their hearts or to embrace the unknown. It felt like a crossroad, not just for them, but for their children too. Just when he thought they could reconcile, the diner door swung open, revealing a familiar face from his past, one that made Liam's heart race. What awaited him, the risk of love or the safety of his children's approval? The choices tangled in his mind like a jumble of forgotten dreams, leaving him breathless at the unknown journey ahead. Liam's gut twisted as he recognized the silhouette stepping through the diner door. It was Jenna, his ex-wife. The woman he once loved and the mother of his kids stood before him like a haunting reminder of a past he had tried to bury beneath responsibilities and heartache. Her presence shifted the atmosphere, dimming the vibrant exchange he had been having with Emma. "Liam," she said, her voice dripping with feigned cheerfulness. "It's been a while." He forced a smile, trying to mask the turmoil inside. "Yeah, it has." Emma's joyful expression turned slightly bewildered, her eyes darting between them. The warmth of their earlier conversation dissipated like steam on a chilly morning. "Do you two know each other?" she asked, the hint of uncertainty in her voice making Liam's heart sink deeper. "Yes," Jenna replied, her gaze intense. "Liam and I were once upon a time." The past lingered in the air, thick and suffocating. "What a small world," Emma managed, but Liam could hear the tremor of uncertainty in her tone. She glanced at her phone, maybe hoping for a lifeline to rescue her from this escalating tension. Guess I should say hi to the kids when I get a chance, Jenna continued, oblivious to the emotional bombshell she was dropping. How are they doing? Her tone was casual, but he sensed the undercurrents of criticism lacing her words. They're good, he replied, trying to keep his voice steady. Busy with school and their activities. Let me know if you want me to take them for a weekend, she offered sweetly, but Liam recognized the distant hope of a mother trying to reclaim lost ground. He felt his chest tighten. The last thing he wanted was a reunion of their fractured family. Emma shifted in her seat, visibly uncomfortable, yet Liam noticed her hands subtly reaching toward his. It was a small gesture but brimming with significance. He felt both grateful and terrified. Actually, Emma and I were just getting to know each other, Liam said, his voice clearer than he felt. We were having a nice time before his gaze flickered back to Jenna for just a moment, before the unexpected. Jenna's expression changed, and Liam could almost see the gears turning in her mind, processing the implication of his words. Right. Well, good to see you both. I'm sure you're busy, she said finally, her voice colder now. But as Jenna turned to leave, a flicker of something unmasked passed between them: regret, longing, perhaps even jealousy. Wait, Emma called out suddenly, surprising them both. Jenna stopped and turned, brow raised. Liam and I were just about to discuss our favorite art styles. Emma smiled, her confidence shimmering through the awkwardness. I'd love to hear your take on it too, maybe you could share some tips with us. Liam's heart fluttered. She was standing up for them both, and that single act ignited a warmth within him. It felt like a shield against the looming shadows of his past. As Jenna rolled her eyes and stepped away, leaving a silence thick with unspoken words, Liam took a deep breath. I'm sorry about that. I didn't expect her to show up. Emma's eyes softened as she leaned closer. Don't apologize. It's part of who you are. And maybe it's okay to have that history. But I do want to know you, Liam, not just the you that existed before. Liam's heart raced again, this time with hope. What do you mean? Before she could answer, the lights flickered overhead, the air buzzing with the potential of new beginnings and the shadows of old ghosts intertwined. Something about tonight felt decisive, a pivotal moment. Would they break free from their pasts, or would fear grip them both too tightly to embrace the love they had found? What lay ahead could either stitch their wounds together or unravel what they had started. As Emma's warmth enveloped him like a lifeline, Liam wondered if they were ready to face whatever would come next. Just then, another familiar face popped into the diner, one that would change everything once again. Could this be the push they needed, or would it send them tumbling back into familiar chaos? Liam's heart dropped as the door swung open again. This time, it was Matt, a jovial yet chaotic force who had once been his best friend. They had drifted apart after the divorce, but Matt always had a creative flair and endless enthusiasm for life. He strode in, cheerfully oblivious to the heaviness already hanging in the air. Liam. Look who it is. He called out, spotting Jensen in an instant. Jenna, you're back. How's life treating you? Matt's warm enthusiasm was like a spotlight on a dark stage. Jenna forced a smile but turned her eyes away from Liam, clearly annoyed. Hey, Matt. It's been a while, she replied, her voice flat. Emma, still at the table with Liam, shot him a worried glance. Do you want to? She began, but Liam shook his head, not wanting to escalate the situation any further. This was meant to be their night, a fresh start amidst the confusion. Why don't you join us? Matt prompted, pulling up a chair at their table without waiting for an invitation. I almost thought I'd miss you two completely. Always good to see old friends. Is that what we are now? Jenna replied, a bite to her tone. Hey, come on, life's too short for old grudges, Matt said in a laugh, with a charm that could smooth over any conflict. Liam threw a glance at Emma, who looked as if she was wrestling with her own thoughts. His heart raced as he tried to gauge her reaction. Would she feel overwhelmed, or did Matt's presence help ease the tension? "Let me get everyone drinks," Matt continued, oblivious, as he waved for the waitress. "How about some milkshakes? They have a mean chocolate one here." Emma brightened at the thought, the weight of the moment easing ever so slightly. "I'd love that," she said, her voice lifting. Liam watched her, marveling at how quickly she could bounce back. It was hard to believe only moments ago they were caught in an emotional storm together. But now, with Matt as an unexpected buffer, her laughter made the air feel lighter. As Matt chatted away, his stories spilling out with a mix of nostalgia and comedy, Jenna sat, arms crossed, her demeanor closed off. The tension that had been building seemed impossible to ignore. It made Liam ache for Jenna's approval, for some validation of their shared past, even if it felt like a distant shore they would never reach again. "Do you remember the time we went camping?" Matt asked, looking back and forth between the two women. "We ran out of food, and Jenna here had to fish out those terrible trail snacks." Jenna chuckled, finally breaking her own icy facade. "They were not terrible. They just weren't gourmet." Liam felt something shift in the air as they shared the goofy moment. He couldn't help but smile, but alongside it flickered a sadness. It was a reminder of how far they had drifted apart, of how many good memories now weighed heavy, intertwined with regret. As the conversation swirled around him, Liam caught Emma's eye, feeling the warmth radiate from her direction like sunlight. "What about you, Emma?" he asked, turning to her. "What's your most embarrassing moment?" Emma smiled mischievously, leaning forward. "Oh, I have plenty, but only if you promise to share yours too." "Deal," he said, exhilarated. But just as the night began painting over the cracks of his past, a text pinged on Jenna's phone. Her eyes glazed over as she read it, and the moment melted away. She turned to Liam, face pale as she whispered, "I have to go." The kids. Liam felt the warmth of the moment plunge into a chilling reality. "Wait, can we talk?" "No, I really can't," Jenna said, her voice trembling. She stood, quickly gathering her things. As Liam watched her walk away, leaving behind the echo of shared history and half-finished conversations, he felt Emma's hand slip into his, offering comfort but also posing an unspoken question: would they be able to move forward, or were they destined to be caught in the past? With Jenna vanishing into the night, Liam turned to Emma, uncertainty swirling between them. Their tentative connection was more fragile than ever, and he had to break the silence. "Do you think," he began, his voice wavering, "should we really try to build something here with all this unfinished business?" Just then, he noticed movement at the diner entrance again, a person stepping in, completely unexpected. Who else could shake up the fragile moment they were trying to grasp? The door opened wider, the ding of the bell slicing through the heavy atmosphere. Liam turned, bracing himself for whatever or whoever might step through. What he saw sent a jolt through him. It was Clara, his former colleague from the advertising agency. They had shared countless late nights working on campaigns, both relying on coffee and companionship, but that was years ago. She looked different, more polished, somehow more confident. Her hair cascaded softly over her shoulders, and her smile, though hesitant, lit up the dim diner. "Liam!" she called, her voice laced with warmth. He felt a wave of relief wash over him. "Clara, hey! What are you doing here?" "I was just passing through and thought I'd grab a quick bite," she replied, glancing around the table. She didn't shy away from the tension that lingered, reading the room like a pro. "Looks like a party." "More like a reunion," he said, glancing at Matt, whose mouth was already forming another question. Liam squeezed Emma's hand. She was a grounding presence, and he needed that now more than ever. "Oh, this is Matt and Jenna," Clara said, acknowledgement in her voice. She looked between them, taking in Jenna's strain and Matt's carefree energy. "It's nice to meet you both." "What's a reunion without old friends?" Matt chimed in. Clara, you have to join us. We were just reminiscing. Clara hesitated, biting her lip. I don't want to intrude, of course you want tea. Emma interjected, her enthusiasm cutting through Clara's uncertainty. We could use another perspective, right? Plus, milkshakes are on the way. With a push from the group, Clara accepted the chair Matt offered, and the circle tightened. As the drinks arrived, laughter began stitching up some of the awkwardness. They shared stories, rolling through old memories, and even the occasional cringeworthy moment, with Clara adding her own flair to the mix, yet in the back of Liam's mind, Jenna was a ghost, her exit leaving a void he couldn't ignore. Every time he glanced at the now empty seat where she had sat, he felt a pang of confusion. Why had everything felt so complicated? Liam. Matt called over the chatter, sudden excitement in his voice. Remember that time we pulled that prank on Clara at the office? Liam chuckled, a genuine smile breaking through the haze. Oh, man, I can still see your face when you almost got caught. Clara waved her hands, laughter spilling out. Please, don't bring that up. I was mortified. Emma leaned in, her eyes dancing with mischief. What happened? Now I want to know. As Clara recounted the outrageous story, the energy began to shift. Laughter enveloped them, and Liam felt something within him loosen. The heaviness he had felt just moments ago was rising like smoke, dissipating into the air, but as Clara's eyes sparkled with nostalgia, a sudden intrusion of seriousness fell back over Liam. He kept thinking about Jenna, the shared history that still clung to him, and the seemingly effortless new bond he was building with Emma. As the evening deepened, Clara turned to Liam, studying him with a gaze that felt both familiar and new. You know, she said softly, it's really great to see you doing well. How have you been? The question hung like a shimmer of light in the air. It pulled at him. Did he share the truth? Would he reveal the turmoil behind his smile? He took a breath, preparing to open up. But at that moment, Emma's phone buzzed, pulling her away from their intimacy. She frowned, glancing at the screen. I'm sorry, I need to take this. Liam's heart raced as he watched Emma walk away, the gap between them widening, the comfort of their laughter replaced by a blossoming sense of dread. He couldn't shake the nagging feeling that perhaps, just perhaps, this was all too good to be true. Clara's eyes met his as Emma stepped outside. You all right? He opened his mouth to reply, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, he felt trapped between the past and an uncertain future, the fragile threads of connection fraying at the edges, and just then, from the corner of his eye, he saw Jenna return, urgency in her stride. Determination on her face. What was it she had to say this time? Liam's stomach dropped as he watched Jenna approach. Her expression was fierce, but uncertainty shimmered behind her determined eyes. The laughter that had just filled the diner faded into muffled whispers as every eye shifted in her direction. Jenna? Clara's voice cut through the silence. She seemed to sense the tension, her smile fading as Jenna stopped a few feet away, hands on her hips. Liam felt the weight of Jenna's presence, a familiar gravity that threatened to pull him back into old patterns. Wasn't that how it always went? Just when he started to feel okay, the past would come shattering through the door like a winter storm. Liam, Jenna said, her tone urgent enough to grab attention away from their group. I need to talk to you now. Emma was still outside, and Matt and Clara exchanged glances, caught in the middle of something they couldn't quite understand. They were friends, but this felt personal. Can it wait? Liam replied, unable to hide the edge in his voice. He resisted the urge to glance out the window toward Emma, who was likely still on that phone, oblivious to the emotional war raging inside the diner. No, it can't, Jenna insisted, shaking her head as if to shake off the anxiety that had invaded her demeanor. It's important. Clara, sensing the heaviness, shifted uncomfortably. Maybe we should take this somewhere private? She suggested, trying to help ease the growing tension. No. Jenna's answer was immediate, her eyes narrowing. This is between me and Liam. The challenge in her voice hung in the air, and for a moment, Liam felt paralyzed, memories flooding back, laughter, love, and ultimately, heartbreak. He had wanted to forget, but Jenna's presence was a reminder that some things could weave back into the fabric of his life whether he wanted them to or not. Liam, please. Jenna softened for a fraction of a second before regaining her resolve. I'll explain everything if you just give me a minute. He could feel Clara's gaze on him, those familiar eyes searching for answers that even he didn't have. The room around him faded slightly, replaced by a whirlwind of thoughts. What could she possibly need to say that would change the narrative of everything they had rebuilt? Liam took a long breath, holding it, then released it slowly. Okay, he said finally, the word heavy with uncertainty. Let us go outside. He stood, feeling the weight of their friend's stares prickling at his back. He didn't want to hurt Clara or put Emma in an uncomfortable position if she returned to find him in confrontation mode. As he stepped out into the cool night air, he caught sight of Emma. She was pacing, her brow creased with concern as she spotted him. His heart raced again, entangled in a mess of emotions. He could sense all the connections pulling taut between the past with Jenna, the moment he shared with Emma, and Clara's unexpected re-entry into his life. Jenna followed him outside, an anxious energy crackling in the air. I didn't know how else to reach you, she confessed, folding her hands together, eyes darting back toward the door as if envisioning their friends inside. What is this about? Liam demanded, his voice low but firm. Jenna took a deep breath, gathering herself. It's about that night, Liam. The night I left. Just then, Emma stepped closer, having overheard Jenna's words. The look on her face was a mixture of confusion and something deeper, something that felt like concern for him, like she was ready to fight for clarity. In that moment, the air seemed to thicken, words dissolving between them. There was no escape now. Maybe we all need to be honest with each other, Emma said quietly, but intensity filled the air, like something unsaid was waiting to break through. Liam could feel the threads of his life unraveling further, caught in a web of relationships that had become far too complicated. What truths were on the horizon? And was he ready to face them all at once? Liam's heart raced again, each beat punctuated by the uncertainty of what was to come. Jenna's revelation hung in the air like a storm cloud, threatening to unleash a deluge of feelings he'd tried so hard to suppress. He glanced at Emma, her expression torn between confusion and worry. He could feel her desire to step in, to shield him from whatever storm Jenna was about to unleash. Why now, Jenna? His voice was barely above a whisper, laced with frustration. Why bring this up after all this time? Jenna looked down, her shoulders slumping as realization hit her. I didn't want to, but I can't keep living with this. You deserve to know. We all do. Know what? Emma interjected, crossing her arms, her protective nature flipping into overdrive. If it's about Liam, then it's about all of us. Jenna shot Emma a look, a mix of fear and resolve. You don't understand. I was scared. Scared of losing him completely. She took a deep breath, her voice steadying. The night I left, it wasn't just me running away. I was trying to protect you, Liam. From what I couldn't explain. A pulse of anger surged through him. Protect me? Or protect yourself? His words hung like icicles in the chill night air. Both, maybe, Jenna admitted, her eyes shimmering with the threat of tears. She stepped closer, urgency in her voice. There were things that happened that night, things I couldn't tell you. Secrets that I thought were for your own good. Liam was reeling. Each word from Jenna clawed at a wound he thought had scabbed over. He wanted to shout, to demand answers, but something in the way she looked at him, vulnerable and raw, stirred an empathy that began to turn simmering anger into a desperate curiosity. What secrets, Jenna? He asked, his tone shifting, softer but still edged in confusion. She glanced back toward the diner, then leaned closer, lowering her voice. It's about my family, about the danger that followed me when I left town. Liam, I didn't just leave you. I left to protect you from something dark. Dark? Emma echoed, drawing Liam back to the moment. What are you talking about? But Jenna took a step back, the weight of her words pulling on her. You need to understand that this is dangerous. I didn't want to involve either of you. As Jenna's imagination painted a picture of danger, Liam could feel Emma's stiffening presence beside him, a stark reminder that emotions were running deep and tangled. Being scared doesn't justify shutting me out, Liam said, frustration spilling over. You think disappearing was the right move? I know it was the wrong move now. Jenna's voice cracked. That night, it was a mess. But everything I did was for you. I thought I was preserving a future that no longer existed. But I'm here now, Liam argued, frustration rising again. Don't you see? We could have figured this out together. A shadow flickered across Jenna's face, and for a moment, the defiance wavered. I thought you deserved better. Someone without my baggage. What baggage? Emma's voice cut through again, this time sharper. You have no idea how much harm you're doing by keeping this from us. Then Jenna's expression hardened. I'm just trying to keep you both safe. Liam felt a mix of emotions raging inside him. The warmth he felt for Emma burned bright, while hurt and regret twisted around his stomach at the sight of Jenna, someone who left a gaping hole in his heart. All the connections felt tangled now, and he was left wondering how they could possibly find clarity. They all stood in silence, the night air thickening around them. I just need to know how deep this goes, Liam finally said, searching Jenna's eyes for answers. What exactly are we up against? Before Jenna could respond, a faint sound caught Liam's attention. A vehicle pulled up just outside the diner, headlights cutting across the parking lot like a beacon. Who's that? Emma murmured, her eyes narrowing in suspicion. Liam felt the air shift. Whatever was coming next, it felt monumental, like the walls around them were closing in. What lay behind that car's headlights? A piece of their past? Or something more sinister, ready to invade their fragile standing? And with that thought, Liam knew one thing for certain: they were stepping into a storm that none of them had expected, and there was no telling how hard it would rain. Liam squinted against the glare of the car's headlights, his heart thumping in his chest. The vehicle parked abruptly, and the engine sputtered to a stop. A figure stepped out, silhouetted against the light, and for a moment, it felt like time had split in two, everything before and everything after this instant. Who is that? Liam whispered, his gaze darting between Jenna and Emma. Emma's lips pursed tightly, her apprehension palpable. I don't know, Jenna replied, her voice cracking. But it can't be good. As the figure moved closer, Liam's stomach twisted. The shadows revealed familiar features, and the dread that had settled tightly around his heart constricted even harder. It was Mark, Jenna's older brother, the very person Jenna had feared would come back to wreak havoc on their lives. Jenna. Mark's voice rang out, deep and commanding, slicing through the tension like a knife. You need to come home. Now. The air thickened with unspoken words and unresolved feelings. Jenna's eyes widened, shock and fear shadowing her features. No, I can't go back to that life. Mark shifted, glancing at Liam and Emma with a dismissive nod. This is about family. You know why I'm here. Liam stepped forward, anger coursing through him. What do you mean, family? Jenna told us you people are dangerous. Dangerous? Mark sneered, stepping closer. It's not what you think. We're trying to protect our own. But you wouldn't understand that. He turned back to Jenna, his tone softening, but the steel was still there. You can't run forever. They won't let you. Who won't let her? Liam pressed, feeling the walls close in around him. What exactly is going on here? Forget it, Liam, Jenna said, desperation lacing her voice. It's better if you don't know. That's not your decision to make, he shot back, the hurt breaking through. You dragged us into your mess the moment you opened your mouth about secrets. Don't you think we deserve to know what's at stake? Mark laughed darkly. You think you're protecting her by sticking around? This isn't a game. Your lives are in danger. Emma took a step closer to Liam, her resolve growing. You don't get to scare us. We're in this together. The three of them, or rather, the three of them against Mark, created a fragile line of defense. Yet, as Mark's gaze shifted from Jenna to Liam and Emma, the air grew heavy with the sense of looming conflict. Your loyalty is admirable, Mark muttered, but it's misplaced. You can't protect her from what's coming. What do you mean by that? Liam demanded, his voice shaky with urgency. What's coming? Before Mark could respond, a sharp sound shattered the night, a crack like thunder. The chill in the air spiked as a shadow emerged behind Mark, and the tension that had been brewing shifted to outright panic. Get down! Liam shouted, instinctively pulling Emma close. Jenna's eyes widened, understanding dawning as she caught sight of the figure now standing menacingly beside her brother. Liam! Jenna's voice trembled. This is what I was trying to protect you from. In that instant, the feeling of safety evaporated. The stakes of their reunion had just reached a new, terrifying height, and the storm Jenna had spoken of was no longer just a metaphor. Liam's heart raced, a primal instinct kicking in. They had to get away, but with threats both known and unknown closing in, where could they possibly run? A decision loomed, one that would change everything they knew about each other and the paths ahead. Liam's breath came in quick, shallow gasps as he glanced at Jenna. Her fear mirrored his own, a reflection of the chaos looming just beyond their sight. The figure beside Mark seemed to swell in the darkness, its outline jagged and menacing under the pale moonlight. Who is that? He hissed to Jenna, gripping her arm as if that would tether them to safety. I don't know, she murmured, her voice trembling, but I think they've found me. The shadow moved closer, slipping into the light cast by the car's headlights. As it came into view, the sharpness of its features slid into focus, revealing piercing eyes that sent a shiver racing down Liam's spine. Stand down! The figure barked, a woman with an anger that crackled in the air. Her hair was pulled tight, framing a face hardened by battles Liam would never understand. Ren, Mark warned, shifting uneasily. Not now. Not now? Ren shot back, her voice full of fury. You're the one who brought this mess to our door, Mark. This isn't just about your family anymore. Liam felt the tension rise like a wave, threatening to crash over everything he thought he knew. Jenna's grip on his arm tightened, and he could feel the warmth radiating from her body, even through the panic enveloping them. Jenna, you need to leave with me. Mark's voice was a mix of authority and desperation. You don't know what they're capable of. Which they? Jenna's voice was laced with defiance. You're the one who put me in danger. We've worked hard to escape that life. I'm not going back. Liam's heart clenched at her words. She had fought so hard, and now it felt like the world was trying to drag her back into the shadows of her past. Ren stepped forward, an air of menace surrounding her. You think you can just run away? You have a responsibility to your blood, Jenna. I'm not responsible for you or your choices. Jenna shot back, her eyes fierce. Liam could hardly believe the war of words unfolding before him. The tension simmering on the surface felt like it could snap at any moment. What do you want with her? He shouted, stepping protectively in front of Jenna. Ren's gaze turned to him, scrutinizing as if measuring his worth. You think you're the hero, don't you? But this isn't a fairy tale. You're in over your head. Liam narrowed his eyes, refusing to back down. No one's taking her anywhere. We're done being victims. Emma moved alongside him, her resolve a solid force. We're a team. Whatever this is, we face it together. The challenge hung in the air, thick with emotion and uncertainty. The shadows seemed to shift, tightening around them and leaving little room for hope. With a flick of her wrist, Ren summoned the attention of the figure behind her. Then let us see how long your bravado lasts. Suddenly, the figure advanced, stepping forward into the light. Liam's stomach dropped as he recognized the face, the connection unspooling dread like petals off a withering flower. Is that you, Ethan? Jenna gasped, eyes wide. What are you doing here? Jenna, Ethan's voice was cold, cutting through the night. You've made a grave mistake not coming home. And now? What does that even mean? Jenna's voice wavered, confusion rippling through her. The night felt even darker now, secrets spilling, and the stakes rising higher by the second. Liam's heart raced as pieces began to connect in chaotic fashion. Now, it's time to choose your side, Mark said quietly, but the weight of his words hung heavy. As the tension snapped around them, the scars of the past began to bleed into the present. Liam felt a deepening dread. Their battle was only beginning. What did this mean for their future? What choice would Jenna make, and how far would they all go to protect what they had found together? All he could do was hold his breath. Ethan's gaze locked onto Jenna, a whirlwind of emotions playing across his face. Liam felt the world tilt, like he was teetering on the edge of a cliff, and he had no idea how far down the drop was. Jenna, you have no idea the consequences of leaving, Ethan pressed, stepping closer. His eyes glinted with a strange mix of anger and desperation. You thought you could just walk away? The past doesn't forget, and neither do I. Jenna took a shaky step back, her eyes darting between Ethan and the looming figure of Ren. You don't understand anything, she said, voice stronger but still laced with fear. I needed to escape. I had to break free. Break free? Ethan laughed, a harsh sound that echoed in the stillness of the night. What you've done, it's only made things worse. There are people who will come for you. It's not just us anymore. Then let them come. Mark interjected, his face flushed with anger, as if he could physically push back the tide of chaos. You think you can threaten us? We're not afraid of you. But you should be. Ren stepped forward, her presence looming like a thundercloud. This isn't just a game. You all need to understand what's at stake. You've entangled yourselves in a web you can't see. Liam's heart pounded in his chest. He turned to Jenna, searching her face for any hint of doubt or uncertainty. Jenna, we can work this out, he urged, trying to keep his voice steady. Whatever it is, we'll face it together. Nothing's more important than your safety. Jenna's breath hitched, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. I tried to forget, Liam. I thought I could find a normal life with you. He reached for her, fingers brushing against her cheek, trying to wipe away the fear he saw reflected back at him. You still can. We have to find a way. Suddenly, Ethan stepped between them, his stance protective. You don't get to decide what happens to her, Liam. His voice was a sharp whisper, laced with a blend of jealousy and protectiveness that had Liam's stomach churning. Before Liam could respond, Ren spoke again, her tone chilling. Enough. You need to choose, Jenna. Do you return with your brother, or do you stay with these so-called friends? What kind of choice is that? Jenna spat, her voice rising. You're both trying to control me. The choice is yours, but the consequences belong to us all, Ren shot back, glaring at Liam and Emma. Liam felt the weight of Jenna's decision crash over him like a tidal wave. The uncertainty twisted in his gut as he realized they were standing on shaky ground, one wrong move away from total disaster. Jenna. His voice shook, vulnerable and raw. Whatever you decide, you have to promise me it's what you want. Tears slid down her cheeks, shimmering in the moonlight as the tension around them reached its peak. How do I know what I want anymore? Just as she finished speaking, a loud crash broke through the heavy air, shaking the ground beneath them. They all turned as shadows emerged from the tree-line, forms darting toward them, like dark whispers of a past they all wanted to forget. Liam's heart raced anew, the imminent danger thrumming through him. "Get behind me." He pulled Jenna away from the approaching figures, but in that moment, everything spiraled. The night was no longer just about decisions and old ties. It had morphed into chaos, and as they braced for impact, Liam realized he had to protect not just Jenna, but their fledgling future together. "We have to run," Emma shouted, her voice cutting through the panic holding them together amid the rising storm. But would they escape the storm, or would those shadows catch up to them, dragging them back to the past? Liam's blood ran cold. The moment of action was closing in, and with it, a new reality awaited them. But would they run toward the light or be swallowed by the darkness? As shadows loomed over the diner, their fate hung by a thread. Liam's heart pounded in sync with the pounding footsteps that crashed through the night like thunder racing toward a storm. "Run!" he shouted, gripping Jenna's hand tightly. The group surged together, instinctively shielding one another as they darted toward the diner entrance. Emma was right beside Liam, her determination shining bright even against the encroaching darkness. "We can't let them take you," he urged Jenna, fear curling in his stomach. "We can't go back," Jenna echoed, urgency lining her voice. The shadows behind them were getting closer, the weight of old secrets chasing them like ghosts from a past that refused to let go. The intense urgency propelled them forward. "This way," Matt called out, pointing toward a side exit, leading them into an alleyway shrouded in quiet. The distant whoops and hollers from the diner faded behind them as they plunged deeper into the heart of the chaos. Liam risked a glance over his shoulder. That familiar sense of dread clawed at him, and the fear of losing Jenna again twisted his insides. He could almost feel the darkness behind him, as if it wanted nothing more than to pull her back into the shadows. They were fighting not just for their lives, but for her freedom. "Where do we go?" Emma gasped, her breath hanging in the chill of the night. They had reached a crossroads, both literal and metaphorical. Choices were piling up like storm clouds, and for every uncertain second that passed, the tension grew thicker. "To my car. We can figure out what to do next," Liam replied, trying to rally their spirits. He led them towards the parking lot, every step pulsing with urgency. They needed a plan, but for now, survival was the priority. As they reached the car, the headlights beamed like a beacon in the night. Liam fumbled for his keys, and the sound of approaching footfalls made him pray they would make it in time. Just as he turned the key in the ignition, a shout rang out from the shadows. "Stop! You can't run." It was Ethan's voice, echoing out like a warning bell. Liam's heart dropped. They hadn't escaped, not yet. He cursed under his breath and slammed the car into drive, already moving before the tires could fully grip the pavement. "Go!" Jenna yelled, her voice radiating with strength as if she were ready to face anything. Liam glanced at her, eyes wide. This fierce woman, the one who feared the past, was reclaiming her heart through sheer force. Inspired, he pressed harder on the gas. They sped away, the faces of danger fading behind them as the world blurred. It was exhilarating yet terrifying, their hearts racing to catch up with the unfolding reality. As they navigated through empty streets, the reality of what had just transpired began to settle amongst them. Silence fell, heavy and thick, the gravity of their near escape weighing down on their chests. "We need to talk," Liam said as he turned onto a desolate road framed by trees, breaking the tension in the car but not the anxiety. Jenna nodded, her eyes glistening with tears, all the adrenaline crashing into a wave of emotion. "I didn't mean to put you in danger," she confessed, her voice trembling. "I thought I could protect you from them, from everything." "What matters now is that you're safe," Emma said, her tone unwavering yet soft. "We're here. You don't have to go back." "I'm sorry for dragging you all into this mess," Jenna replied, wiping her eyes. "But there's so much I haven't told you." "Then tell us," Liam urged gently, turning towards her. "We can face anything, but we need the truth. What are we up against? Jenna's breath hitched as she looked at them, her heart exposed in the soft glow of the dashboard lights. When I left, I thought I was breaking free. I didn't understand the consequences. My family, they crossed lines into things I never wanted, things that could threaten my children. I thought by leaving, I could erase that part of me. But I was wrong. They didn't forget me. Liam held her gaze, the depth of her pain piercing through the air between them. We'll figure this out, he said, emotion bubbling beneath the surface. You don't have to face it alone again, Jenna. We'll fight for your freedom together. Emma's hand rested on Jenna's, a gesture of solidarity. You're not alone anymore. We're your family now, whether you like it or not. Their connection grew stronger, fortified by shared understanding and raw vulnerability. Together, they could battle the storms of their past and face whatever came next. As they continued down the winding road, Liam felt a flicker of hope igniting within. Jenna was more than her past, she was a woman filled with potential, love, and strength. Facing the darkness ahead wouldn't erase their history, but it could build something beautiful from the rubble. Let us make a promise, Liam said, a bold smile creeping onto his face as possibility flared brightly. Whatever happens, we face it together. No secrets anymore. No shadows lurking over us. Jenna nodded, the corners of her mouth lifting as she nestled into her cheesy defense. Together, she echoed, her voice resolute, with Emma's hand still resting on them in a reassuring squeeze, and the engine humming under the shifting atmosphere. They felt the dawn of a new beginning rising up. It wouldn't be easy, but together, they were ready to face the storm, ready to claim their future with open hearts and unwavering trust. As they looked ahead into the night, the thrill of unknown adventures awaited them, a journey woven together, brighter than any past they ever faced alone. You need to subscribe now to catch the next chapter of this incredible journey. Don't wait not even one more second to share this story with 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and comment your feelings about this ending. This is the moment to show your support for the channel. You don't want to miss out.